Welcome to Chalk Talk with Charlie Ward, where each week we talk about engaging stories, hear from great guests, and more, all under the leadership of the guy sitting right next to me, Charlie Ward. Woody Hayes here along with Charlie Ward, and first episode is in the books, and man, what a great response to Chalk Talk. How do you feel about it?
Well, first of all, welcome.
Thanks you so much.
Being the co-host of Charlie's Chalk Talk. Definitely appreciate having you. The response of our first show with Coach Bowden was amazing.
Yeah.
We got a lot of great feedback on the stories that were told during that time, and also just Coach B being in studio with me was a great honor.
Well, we've had a lot of success with the first episode of Chalk Talk. We couldn't be more pleased with the reaction. And there's even more to come in the following weeks. And if you like what you see, be sure to tell your friends, share the video, comment wherever you're watching. Let folks know about Chalk Talk with Charlie Ward.
Woody, I just want to take a moment to thank Coach Bowden for being here with us the first show. It's always a thrill to see Coach Bowden to kick off the entire series that we had on Chalk Talk. That was a special moment for me. If you didn't get a chance to see it, episode 1 with Coach B, then be sure to find it here on this channel. And Woody, it was great to see Coach Bowden movie on the air on the ACC network last week, and I recommend everyone get a chance to go see the movie on the ACC network.
Absolutely, check out Bowden Dynasty. So Charlie, now we're here ready to go with segment number 1, episode 2. You ready?
I'm ready.
Who do we have as our first guest today?
Well, today we have Drew O'Daniel. He's a fullback, played at FSU back in 1995 through 97, and he's coached college football for 20 plus years.
About 20 years, yes, sir.
About 20 years. So we'll definitely welcome Drew to the set, to the show. Drew, welcome.
Thank you for having me. It's good to be here.
Well, I think it's about time we get to our 2 trending topics on the chalkboard. And today we're going to kick off with the football season so far. Probably not up to expectations for fans, but nonetheless, the team is making progress. We're showing positive signs and moving towards that winning season and getting back to bowl eligibility. Charlie, how are you feeling about so far?
Well, fans aren't the only one that's not feeling like they're playing up to expectation. It's the coaches and the players as well. And so, the more and more you talk to the coaches and the players, they're working really hard to get things turned around. And we have seen progress over the past 3 weeks. I was wanting to see how they were going to play when they went to Virginia and played on the road.
Tough environment.
And very tough environment. And I was encouraged because we had an opportunity to win the game.
Yeah.
And that's all you would like to have, is an opportunity to win on the road against a very good football team.
And Drew, you had a stat that people, just the normal fan watching the game, may not know about the red zone efficiency for the team.
Yeah, what I find interesting is, as we are striving to make those great gains and getting the ball in the end zone, because ultimately, if they don't score, they can't win. If you outscore them, you win. And so, for us, we're averaging almost 7 points per possession in the red zone.
Yeah.
So what does that mean? That means I'm scoring a touchdown the majority of the time. And if you broke that down statistically, as a coach dealing with the analytics side of it, if you're at that clip scoring touchdowns that are beyond 80% of the time in your red zone, that's championship level caliber.
Absolutely it is. And our second topic, athletes dealing with frustration right now. We're seeing a lot of NFL players demanding trades. We're seeing a lot of folks wanting to hit the transfer portal when they lose their job at a university. And speak to how you would combat that. And as a high school coach, how do you deal with that with training athletes and trying to get them for the next level?
Well, it's really, really tough these days because you want to keep all your athletes, especially the ones that you've groomed,
Right.
On your campus and on your team, because they may be guys that can help you be successful on the field or on the court. However, sometimes it's better if that mindset, if you're trying to bring a team-first mindset, sometimes it's better for some to move on.
Yeah.
To be able to help move your platform of being a team forward. And I've seen where, as they say, subtraction, addition by subtraction.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's very good when you have, kids wanting to be on their own or do their own thing when you're trying to bring and foster, team unity.
I 100% agree. There's that time when you have kids that aren't finding the success that they do want, but they are still bought into the process. And you see week in and week out, we'll have it on our roster, and you'll see it across the country where guys are given that opportunity and they do step up. Just down the road, obviously in a big conference game this week, the young gentleman, Kyle Traskett, in Gainesville, a guy that is a transfer, or not a transfer, but a graduate
right.
Already, and has paid his dues and stepped up on a big stage. And so you can see both sides of it.
So perseverance really is the key, and just trusting the process. You made a commitment, and hopefully we'll find more athletes getting back to keeping the commitments and the contracts that they signed.
That is true. And it's not just just for athletes, people in general.
Yeah.
These things, carry over to everyday life. When things are hard at the house, when things aren't going your way, a lot of times we give up. When sometimes you just need to keep plugging along because you never know when an opportunity may arise that you may strive in. And so I just think it's important that, we all be patient and persevere through tough times because, as we all know, perseverance definitely carries over to our everyday lives.
It absolutely does. And one thing that we want to do here on the show, cover topics that you want to talk about. We want to talk about FSU. We want to talk about positive influences in our community. And of course, we want to talk to you, our Chalk Talk family. And on the other side of the break, we'll answer your questions from the Twitterverse. Welcome back to Chalk Talk with Charlie Ward. I'm Big Woody Hayes along with Charlie Ward and Drew O'Daniel. And we're talking everything FSU. We're talking life. We're talking family. And now we want to talk to you, our Chalk Talk family. We're taking your questions from social media. And here's your first question, Charlie. It comes from Jeannie. She says, what are the advantages or disadvantages of having two quarterbacks playing in the game? And is it a bad situation for the team or the locker room?
Well, there's always advantages and disadvantages. The advantages, if you have two quarterbacks that are not similar, I'm not sure if we have that in our case, but our quarterback is playing not bad. I mean, it's not like
Blackman's doing a great job this year.
He's not the real issue. So I don't know if changing the quarterback, because now you're talking about timing issues and a whole lot of other things. When a team is struggling, you really need stability. I think so. With playing one quarterback in our situation is profitable.
Yeah, Coach, I agree with you 100% from the standpoint of if they are bringing two different style guys at a moment, does that create a situation where defense has to prepare for more? I think ultimately in coaching. From coaching staff to the offensive line to quarterback play in particular, continuity seems to be our biggest friend. So it is timing issues and whatnot. But there certainly have been scenarios in the past where it's done well. Whether we think back to
Tim Tebow, Chris Lee.
Yeah, that would be a great example. Didn't want to bring that up, but yes, they obviously were able to make it work.
Yeah. So there you have it. There's your answer, Gene, and thank you for your question on social media. Our next question comes from Chris Meyer. He says, I'd love an explanation of the offensive theory behind the high-tempo offense.
High-tempo offense, there's always good and there's always some things you have to navigate. And one of the things we're working on navigating is when to use it and when not to use it. And one of the issues, I guess the last game we had, we were up, I think we were up a point at our UVA, and we went high tempo when we probably should have slowed it down a little bit to be able to run some clock. I think we may have taken 45 seconds to a minute off the clock as opposed to 2 minutes. But we still, when it's all said and done, whether you run a high tempo or slow tempo, you still have to execute, which we had an opportunity to make a third down. James missed Trey McKitty for a first down to keep the chains moving. And so those type of situations, as a coach, you make the call and you're hoping that the guys execute.
Yeah, and ultimately, me just as a fan watching that thing, anything you can do to win, and then even as a coach looking back on it, trying to put myself in that situation, I think on the road, as well as their quarterback was playing, I'm not sure what the stats were, 16 to 17 or 17 to 18 down the stretch, you have to think about possibly they're hot at this time offensively. And so I think playing with a history of playing really tough games on the road there, you want to go score. And at that point in time, I'm up one. I can see wanting to go ahead and go score. Whether or not, if you just take 1 or 2 more minutes off the clock, there has to be an anticipation that you're still going to have to go back out there yet again offensively. And I think the idea of the mindset, if you are successful, is to keep that kind of foot to the pedal and get going. Now, from a historical stance, what you're trying to do in up-tempo offenses obviously is create a number of snaps for the defense, not let them get set. And oftentimes I felt like in my past you can mask a few things where if you're not tremendous being able to dial up everything protection-wise on the third down, if you can catch people not being able to sub to keep up and do some things, that it does give you an advantage as long as you're playing within what you're good at. And I hear both sides of it, and I think at the same time, as Charlie, you said, if you're successful on first down or you convert in that third down, you don't tend to notice it as much.
Yeah.
And also, if you're not successful with that fast-paced offense, you tend to get off the field really quick, and it keeps your defense on the field a lot longer during the game as well.
There's pros and cons to it all. However, when it's all said and done, when you're playing that type of offense or any type of offense, you still have to execute. Third downs are critical. If you can keep the chains moving, then it's definitely going to help everyone involved.
So let's say we take another question here. We've got one from Justin Pierce. He says, what adjustments do you think Willie Taggart must make in order to salvage this season?
Well, I think they're still tinkering with some personnel, whether it's defense, offense, just still trying to figure out, the best situations to put their guys in, and some discipline. Trying to make sure that they're getting the right guys on the field, and making sure that those guys that are on the field doing what they're supposed to do, whether it's offense or defense. And I think they're heading in the right direction. When I said it, when we talked about it earlier about them being competitive on the road, losing by a touchdown, but also giving themselves an opportunity at the end to tie the game, which is something that we all wanted, going into the game. We all wanted that, just a chance on the road to win the game. And probably 95% of people outside of the locker room probably wasn't expecting us to be in the game anyway, especially after the first 2 games where we played them. But the crazy part about all of that is we were winning big in both of those games, and we found a way to give up leads. And this game was very similar. We were up, and we found a way to give up, lead in the fourth quarter. And so we're just, as Coach Taggart has said at halftime when he was going in, that they had another opportunity to salvage what they did the first couple games. They were able to do it for a quarter, and then they end up giving it up again. So this week is a different week against Louisville, and hopefully they can find a way to win that game.
I agree. Yeah, there was a neat feeling in that game that at a moment in that fourth quarter where you felt like that we were in control of that football game, and to do that in conference, a rival, a top 25 team, that's a feeling that takes a minute to get used to, and our kids now have that taste in their mouth. And I think going forward is exactly what you've said, Coach. Whether it's tightening splits of little things where a big gash can be in the running game, and next thing you know, a safety tightens a split down, or a linebacker sets off his alignment just right. a few things here and there that we don't really get to see. They get to see it in the meeting room.
Yeah.
That all of a sudden you go, oh wow, we're playing the run this much better. We're playing that pass this much better. And a lot of it is the little things that we don't really get to see. That those are the guys that in the locker room, in the meeting rooms, that they know, and you can see that they are getting some of that handled. So he's heading in the right direction.
And just to piggyback off of that, I mean, when it was all said and done, they had a special guy at quarterback.
Yeah.
And sometimes you just can't. It's hard to.
You know what that's like?
Yeah. Yes. I know. Now I know what people felt when they played against us.
Yeah.
And so because I was that guy that was elusive and make things happen. And so it was just, I felt bad for the defensive linemen because they were there and the guy wasn't there.
They had no chance of catching you.
No. And so he made some incredible plays.
Yeah.
And without him, if that was a normal quarterback, there would have been a totally different situation.
Well, we're going to take one more quick question from Albert Hurst. He says, when will our Noles get back on track to being a contender?
Hopefully this weekend against Louisville.
Amen to that.
Well, contender, I mean, we still have some more games to play.
A lot of season left.
And they're progressing towards what we expected. They have the talent. Now it's a matter of them having the will to win. And sometimes, when you've lost a lot of times, for a long period of time, whenever you get to a point in the game, you're always thinking, when is that going to happen? That losing mentality. I've been in that situation numerous times as a player and as a coach, and you're just waiting to see what's going to happen before you're like, well, it's going to happen again? We're going to end up losing? But when you have a winning mentality, it's like you're always thinking, we're never out of a game. Somebody's going to make a play. We're going to find a way to win this game, and that's just the difference.
Yeah, and I truly believe with our recruiting base, the type of university that we are, the history that we do have, should all breed toward us being a contender. And I know they're working hard at it. They're trying everything they can, from recruiting to everything that we're doing for the guys in training them to be the best players they can be. And just like Coach says here, with that, whether you're waiting for that foot to drop, when you have that winning mentality, it's contagious, and you begin to not only believe that you're going to do it, you're going to do it, and it's little small things, and it's nothing that we haven't heard Coach say. Once you continue to do them one after the other, a little thing at a time, and you make it a habit, that's when those things come.
And that wraps up our questions from our Chalk Talk family. If you'd like to have your question answered, you can always hit up Charlie on Twitter @RealCharlieWard. You can also check out Charlie Ward Official on Facebook, as well as the Chalk Talk with Charlie Ward Facebook page. Charlie, final thoughts.
Well, first of all, thank you, Woody, for co-hosting, and Drew for being here, giving you insight. And I just want to just share that, as an FSU alum, I'm on social media a lot. I'm all about being positive. And as we continue to struggle through the season, we're 1-2 right now. I just ask that all FSU alum and supporters understand and know that Coach Taggart and the staff are doing an excellent job. They're working really hard to get things turned around, and they're taking these steps to making that happen. They're helping the guys understand what it takes to win, and I'm grateful that I have an opportunity to be a part of Coach Taggart and his staff and what they're trying to do in the sense of just being there for them, to support them. So I just want to encourage everyone to go out and support the Seminoles this weekend against Louisville and the rest of the season because they're working really hard to get it turned around.
Thanks for being a part of Chalk Talk with Charlie Ward this week. We'll be back soon. Make sure you share it with all your friends on social media. Tell them to check it out, and we'll see you back here next time.